This is a question that we actually get quite often, especially in the sales cycle, where somebody is selling a house that they've owned for a very long time, or maybe not as long as some homeowners, and they've had a basement foundation crack, like you said, whether it's in the floor or the wall. And they will often ask, well, do I need to worry about this? And the answer to that question is, well, it doesn't really matter if you need to worry about it, because there's going to be other people that might worry about it. So what can you do in this scenario? In most cases, foundation cracks that you'll see in a poured concrete foundation are going to be non-structural in nature. They're going to be either the result of concrete shrinkage or settling. Those are the two main varieties that we've talked about many times. So most foundation cracks that you'll see in a house built from anywhere from 1940 to 2022 will have cracks that fall in those categories. And so there are cracks in foundations that have been basically untouched for a long period of time. Sometimes they leak, sometimes they're not leaking. And we always joke, we don't know when a crack is going to leak, but it will eventually. So what can you do? Or should you just leave it alone? Should you just not worry about it and try to sell the house as is? What comes down to it is that whether it's the buyer, whether it's a home inspector, or whether it's the bank, they can make a big issue out of the foundation crack. So some people will forego home inspection, but then they are having an underwriting of the loan. And that process of coming in to assess the house will actually show this as a foundation issue, and they may not underwrite a loan for the potential buyer. So when it comes down to selling the home, we often advise people, it's usually a fairly small and insignificant dollar amount for the total value of the sale for the house. And what it does is it kind of opens up the buyer pool a little bit for those who might be concerned about something like this. So when you have a foundation issue for a new homeowner or homeowner who is not really up to speed on foundation issues, they get very, very afraid of this. If you want to compound the issue, in Massachusetts and Connecticut, we're having issues with crumbling foundations. So now any sort of foundation crack really raises a red flag for those who are informed in this area. So a lot of these can be resolved with warranties. They can be resolved fully against waterproofing. And in a lot of cases, if they are structural in nature, they can also be repaired for a relatively small price versus replacing the house or replacing the foundation or doing some major reconstruction on the foundation. So the other question we get is, well, my husband, my wife, my cousin, my uncle did a repair on this. That should be fine, right? And the answer is, well, it depends on what they did. But again, it doesn't really matter to us or to you as the homeowner. It really comes down to whether the buyer and the buyer parties are concerned about this. And a lot of times with a homeowner type repair, it might be done well, but it doesn't come with a warranty that's backed by a different company. You move out of that house, that crack leaks on day 3 of the new buyer owning it. Well, that buyer is going to have some issues with the sale of the house, and they're going to cause issues down the line. So a lot of times this process is kind of taken out of the buyer-seller agreement with a third party like a foundation company like A1 Foundation Crack Repair. So we're actually getting in there, doing the repair, own the warranty information, we're the repair company on record, and then that way it gets you out of the equation of repairing it, and it has the buyer only talking directly to us for any sort of future issues that might pop up. So a lot of times, homeowner repairs or just leaving it be, they can cause issues that snowball down the line, especially when it comes into negotiation with pricing and somebody saying, well, this foundation crack, I want $10,000 off the asking price of the house. But the reality is the repairs are usually straightforward, and they can usually mitigate any sort of tension when it comes to selling the house.